forgot like every single thing in my car. You're still rolling, dude. Go.
We're good. Oh yeah, we're just riffing. Yeah, we're here. We're live from Cussin's Cannabis and Nail Salon. And shout out to Cussin's, because where would I be in all of this really without this place? In just pure proper fashion, I've rearranged some furniture, and we brought the food in, and we've populated the tables with all the jars here, and this is it. We're having a time. You guys are here. We're here. This is gonna be great. Man, this sandwich, as I'm just like looking at it and just kind of like really kind of getting into like the different layers of it, I don't know, when I saw the ingredients and it was listed as like hoagie sub roll, I don't know that I processed exactly what that was going to be. So now that I'm looking at this thing, this is a hell of a sandwich.
Yeah.
This is like breakfast and lunch. The sweet tortures of being an audiophile and just hearing every bit of sound in the room here, right, is wild.
Well, what's cool about you is that I felt really comfortable having you come on the podcast. I was telling you off air how I'm trying to make it better, a little bit more interesting, more people are watching. And that's because you're from it, right? Like, you did something with media. Like, how did you start with media? Because you were telling me that you were curious about what we were doing, and the things that you were bringing up to me were intriguing. And I was like trying to take it in and be like, that's how I can get a little better there and here. And audio is a piece of that. I want to know more about your journey with that before we get into anything else.
No, I appreciate that. I do have a bit of a media background, and specifically in radio and like sound production. It was just something that I always kind of like got to. I was in the band when I was in school, as a student, and was like really into the sonics of like the whole band around me, and then kind of got into recording and sound engineering, like a local studio in the area. Shout out to Blue Sky Studios in Delmar. Offered the ability for me to get like behind the soundboards and just like tinker. And I've always been into that. I think it stems maybe even before that. Like, the first person I think I ever idolized was John Candy's character Wink Wilkinson, right, in Little Shop of Horrors. And he had that radio show where he was like, everybody lined up, with their weird oddities to like be interviewed by him. And he was like, come on, it's gonna be weird. And it was like I was just like, that's a fun job. Like, how do you get that job in the world? And then maybe Martin, Martin Lawrence's show, and he was like the radio show host. What's up? And I was just like, what? Like, what is that job?
It's funny you bring up Martin. You have like Martin energy.
It's, it's a morning thing, right? It's that morning, Stern. And I had an internship at Pix 106 here, was waking up with the Wolf. So I would be there at 4:30 in the morning to like answer phones and just be like, hey, thanks for calling, and just like had to bring that energy, but then got to watch the people behind the scenes that, that bring that energy. And literally I was getting their coffee for them, stacked 16 at a time, to give everybody that energy. So, the
production, like we were saying, like that, there's so much that goes into like behind the scenes of it, and the curiosity of creating something cool that will branch out to other people's, and they'll consume it and they'll feel something about it. So I love that about you, and I can't wait to find out more of what you bring to like the cannabis industry too. So Jody from Electraleaf, welcome to the podcast, Breakfast Connections podcast. I'm happy that you freestyle it with me. You're like, let's just do it, dude. Let's just jump into it. I can't wait to see in the editing of your solo act talking about hip hop.
Oh yeah, just like left me here to just talk to myself, which is just like, oh, do I hate this or do I love this?
It's a trick.
Is this what I'm here for?
We'll see how the editors do it. They're magic. But we're at Cussin's Cannabis and Nail Salon. Super cool and unique, and I mean that. It's a dispensary and a nail salon owned by your sister, right?
That's right. Cussin's, Cussin Corey runs the place here.
There we go.
It's her shop. It's my sister. Love her to death. And she's doing an incredible thing here. That is, nail salon on one side, dispensary on the other side. Not running one incredible small business, but two simultaneously at the same time. And it's the only thing like it in the state, maybe the country. And she gave me the ability to kind of enter this market that is the legal New York cannabis market here by giving me a job in the shop. You know, I was doing media work and I was working with, you know, WAMC and kind of loving it, kind of losing my mind and certainly struggling to make ends meet because the media landscape is not the most lucrative landscape, depending on what you're doing. Certainly if you're not showing ass, you know, and you know.
Well, from our perspective too, it's like we have to show different types of ass with your personality, or me fucking being fat and eating these delicious sandwiches.
I showed a lot of ass on the radio. I don't know. I'm not sure I didn't work. You know, she offered me this position, you know, working in the store and helping to manage and helping to get them online. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And she did this. She opened this store pregnant, gave birth to my niece.
Was she one of the first licenses? Because she started early, right?
Very early in that license. You'll have to have her on here to tell her story about it because it's incredible. And that process of getting her license and what she had to do to get this thing up and running. And you know, I came in here kind of just peacocking and just kind of waltzed in like, hey, let's sell some weed. And you know, I'm surprised that didn't work out. But again, she gave me a wonderful opportunity here, and I got a chance to just kind of meet the market here in this store, you know, and people, the vendors coming in here, and the, you know, seeing this side of this market in full force, and kind of finding my lane in it was kind of like the journey almost immediately. So. Shouts to Cussins. Big shout out to Cussins.
Super cool, unique spot too. It's just like good energy in the staff members, you know, just asking about it, bringing it up a little bit. They're like, it's that simple fact of like, I go over there, I get these nails, and people ask me about it. They ask for my nails, and they just go. It's such a cool, you know, we always throw the term around community and all these different things.
Right.
It's always great to see it without people being like preaching community. It's like, it's simple. Get your nails done, buy some weed. You know, it's kind of like the food and the weed thing. You know what I mean? It's music, like you and me connect on a lot.
Definitely. And
it's so cool to see it organically and like real.
Yeah, and the ability to draw that line from cannabis to whatever it is you may be interested in. Draw that line from cannabis to whatever you may be interested in to like get to, you know, a building that's nails and cannabis, if that's what you're getting into here, or whatever it is the interest is. And to just on the community piece, it's like if I thought coming into this store that we were going to have a specific type of clientele, what was I wrong about that immediately? And like the people that came in here that's everybody. You're right, the community, our community, the global community, people that just like everybody that wants to be here. For the product, but really for the experience and that shopping experience, and which I think is such a huge part of this thing that we do, this retail, you know, version of cannabis sales here in New York. And I, you know, it took me a minute to figure that out and to figure out how this is different than, you know, what's going on in the streets, what's going on in the hand-to-hand thing, and it's different. I know you kind of have have had a foot in both of those markets.
Absolutely, and like I said to you off air, I'm always pumped to see you, not just because it's friendly and we connect on different things, but like I try to embrace the energy that you give when you do pop-ups and stuff out there, because it's hard. You know, it's really hard to do pop, especially for me as an owner coming from the street shit, coming into this legal market. Like you said, it's a different bridge. A lot, like, you know, I was selling weed to people who weren't coming to stores, and a lot of those people still don't come to stores, right? But selling weed in the stores now legally in New York, I think there's an energy you have to bring that's very welcoming. I think that a lot of people, you know, they're very nervous to come in. It's a lot of people who were smoking weed that didn't like to go to dealers, or let's call it like that, because they were nervous. And it's a lot of weirdos. It's a lot of people with anxiety, all these different things. So I really am intrigued by different dispensaries, different brands, different reps who can make it peaceful and make it friendly for people and not be a gatekeeper, not have a wall up, not be like, oh, I got this and you don't. Like, I hate that.
And I'm glad you said that part too, because for just as many like weirdos and recluses, there is the gatekeeping. There's like the ultra cool, right? So it's like sometimes hard for those two worlds to meet each other when you have, you know, one person on one side selling a thing and the other person looking for a thing. So what I really love about this industry, and New York specifically, especially when you get into the differences between, New York City versus upstate versus, the West New York, all these different things, is that, we've leveled the playing field. Everybody has access. Everybody has access to the store.
Good point.
For the most part, with some hurdles involved, certainly everybody has access to a lane to getting, a license in some way, shape, or form. And have at it. Everybody have at it and come to it. So
yeah, it's fun. I love that. That's a great point, dude. It's like have at it and show your stuff. And I mean, I think you hear this a lot too out there. It's like people with social media or different ways that they'll talk about roadblocks and hurdles, and that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
So I think
that's the spice of life.
And I think you have that same energy that I do, and I think your sister does clearly with what she does and being creative and unique. It's kind of all you need to do. It's people be like, oh, you're doing a hair salon or a nail salon and weed? Like, it's like if you know, it makes sense when you show up, and that's all you really need to do. You don't have to be like somebody else. All you have to do is be yourself and connect with the customers.
That's right.
I think just getting a shot. Sometimes when I go into stores for sales, bro, I mean, I don't know if this is good or not. Like, we'll talk more about like sales tactics and stuff, but it's like sometimes I'm like, just give me a shot.
Yeah.
Just give me a shot. Like, look at what I do. Look at what I've done. I have a unique audience. I try to relate to people who are on a budget, and my brand shows it. So I think that like everyone, and I want to hear more about you and your story of how you got to where you are with Electraleaf, because you represent it very well.
Thank you.
And I think sometimes you don't have to put it into words. You just show up as Jody and you're the man. Like, the golf course with the it's an easy way for me to put it light, to put some light on it for people is you showed up to the golf course event with the gravity bong. That was so awesome.
That's right. Gravity
so talk
bong
about that a little bit. I'm going to grab my
effect.
coffee.
This podcast is brought to you by The Bakery in Cohost, New York. This is one of my favorite dispensaries in New York. They have the best menu. We're proud to be on it. The best staff. Mike has become like a mentor to us out in New York, especially when it comes to Upstate. Be on the lookout for podcasts and more collaborations that we're going to be doing together. The Bakery, Upstate New York, in the Albany Capital District in Cohost, man, that's the spot. Breakfast Connections Dutch Master hats are available now on breakfastconnections.co. These things are dope, paying homage to our original Connecticut roots. We're not able to put tobacco on the blunts, but the whole reason we even did the blunts in the New York market was that we found this cone that was able to like taste the weed and have that good experience that we remember with the Dutch Masters. So that's why we're kind of paying homage with the Dutch Masters hats. We're in tons of dispensaries from in the Adirondacks out to Utica, Capital District down to the Bronx, and Misha's Flower Shop in Brooklyn. We're going to be expanding into the city a little bit more. We also have Living Soil grown indoor flower that's going to be under $40, I'm pretty sure. That's a steal. Some of the best weed in the New York market. I feel confident in saying that. Around $40, that's pretty good. Look out for those bags, Breakfast Connections 8th bags, Breakfast Connections blunts. We still got some of those more affordable 8ths of the outdoors from last season, but we wanted to ramp it up with some more Living Soil indoor grown flower. I think that's it. Back to the show.
Yeah, the golf course thing was funny. Well, before we get into that a little bit, just the idea of, Electraleaf, right? It's I'm so happy to be part of this team. Small batch craft cannabis out of the Finger Lakes is kind of like what the deal is here. They have an incredible story of their own that is, two Puerto Ricans from Pennsylvania, and doing their legacy act, a combined knowledge of impeccable branding awareness, as well as kind of like the genetics and the process of cannabis cultivation coming
So they
together.
come from it too. They come from like the shit that I'm talking about,
most
like
definitely
trapping and
1,000% more
basement
so than I
grows.
do. Yeah, absolutely. Like I know next to nothing and had known next to nothing about that part of it. Like
really,
what I do,
I didn't know that.
I just talk shit.
You don't give that off. That's
it's
funny.
what I come through. I like to.
Maybe that's why. Because you're not trying to fake the funk.
Or
maybe that's why.
Or I'm faking it completely, and so it's all smoke screen here. So I show up through the door, I'm just like, "Hey, everybody!" But there's, my job as far as I can see it as the being in the dispensaries, right?
Yeah.
And pushing the product. I'm there as a representative of Electraleaf, right? And I'm there to help narrow down this menu, right? Of any store from 1,000 things down to like a handful of things that maybe make a little bit more sense. But also, not only am I representing my brand, I'm now a representative of the store that I'm in, right? And I'm now a representative of, I want to be and I'm like, for me, when I'm setting my table up, I kind of want to be in the way of like, put me between the register and the front door. That you got to come through me first. I love when people hand me their IDs, like I'm like the guy that to check it, and I'll check it, and I'm like, hey, thank you, you're old enough, appreciate it. I'll make a dumb joke about their being an organ donor, like
Good
I got to
shit.
and but I like to assert myself right into there, right? And now I'm here. Electraleaf gave me a cool title. I'm not like just a salesperson or like a brand ambassador, but I get to be the director of Dispensary Experience, right?
Damn, dude, they're smart.
That's I got that title, and
they clearly respect you because they are like, who is he? What is he doing? It's good. Let's put a name on it.
It comes with some gravitas to it, so it's like it's more like I want the experience of your experience to be memorable. Like you said, these folks that are, I love the cannabis community. My favorite people are the people that are like, they're gonna wake up, at whatever part in the afternoon they're waking up at, right? And they are, they're gonna make one stop. We're leaving the house for one thing today, and we're coming out to the dispensary, and we're gonna re-up, and we're then going back to the cave afterwards. And
listen to some tunes, play some video games, watch a movie, kick it.
Yeah. And if I'm the one person that you're gonna interact with today when you're like in and out of your cave mode, like I want that to be the best experience that you had, in the week, in the day. Maybe you think like, hey, maybe if I step outside again, I could have more of these experiences, right? So I try to just present the best human experience that we can have in this space here.
That's beautiful, bro. It's like real purpose.
It is, and
we forget that. I forget that. That's why I'm saying every time I see you, I like try to learn something from why you're so good at it.
I'm trying to figure it out
it's
myself,
human,
man.
It's human, but that's the thing. I was just about to say, human being shit.
Yeah, that's
connecting with people because, I run in multiple hats as you do too. As a lot of us who are successful with what we do, with going to pop-ups, accounts.
Yeah.
It's hard. So showing up and doing that is a sense of purpose, I feel like. I think that's what you're kind of portraying, right? It's like you're actually caring about each individual that comes in and making their day interesting.
That's it.
Because like you said, you like to talk shit, have fun. So they might be like, who was that guy in there? But
it's not
you
about
made an impression,
It's not the Jody show. Like I'm here to be the talking billboard for the 3 hours that I'm in there. But like it's not about me. It's about you. How was your day? And what do you need? And like what do you smoke at home? And like what are you trying? What do you like here? What have you bought before? Like I want to know. And then after that, I want to get intrusive. Like, hey, how's like your, we're just going to talk about it, right? But I like to be a little off-putting. I like to, shock people out of the, wake up, we're here, you're alive, we're, and weed is for sale in New York State.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
come get some,
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is very exciting and it's fun. And I've also worked jobs that I hated, right? And had to do them because I needed, I needed to pay my bills. I needed to feed my kids. So to be able to do a job that yes, is a job. This is still an occupation. There's still there's still work to do here. But it's okay to like love it.
Yeah.
And it's okay to enjoy it and bring, the proper energy that it deserves because this is a lot of fun. Look at these jars, man.
Yeah.
Look at this sandwich. This is like,
Yeah,
what are we
dude.
doing
What-
here?
what a
This is
sick
a
day of work,
blast.
dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Somebody's getting paid for this. This is great.
I want to know more about your upbringing, though, and getting into cannabis, because you said that it wasn't really your thing. Are you guys from the area?
From Oneonta originally.
Okay.
We moved to the Capital District in like '96, and probably around that time started smoking weed myself, and was kind of exposed to that around here. The suburbs are funny in the sense of like, you get the right friend with the right older brother or sister, and you can get anything that
Is she
you
your
want.
older sister?
She's my younger sister by a couple of years. Yeah. But it's like, in middle school in the suburbs, it might as well be in Amsterdam. It's like here's the red light district.
So true,
and
dude.
it's scary. So I'm glad, and I was afraid of drugs. Right? I was terrified of drugs. From what's the cartoon with all of my favorite Saturday morning, because Snoopy and the Ninja Turtles and Scooby Doo and all these guys, it was like the one special that everybody came together to like stop the drug dealers, like the little kid in the alleyway shooting up heroin or something.
I can't believe they had Ninja Turtles and Scooby Doo.
Do you remember this? Does
Those are
anybody?
fucking stoners.
Somebody will find this. And
my fake producer.
That was enough for me to be like, yeah, no, I think I'm good on like shooting needles into my arm. Right?
It worked.
But but also life as a teenager is, you get into whatever you get into and the peer pressures of things and and then just
it's fucking weird, man.
The life of things, right? So I always found. We won't get into how exactly I got into cannabis that first time, but cannabis felt like something that was approachable. I remember the first joint. I remember the cool factor, right, of being in a group, being in the cipher, somebody passing a thing to me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hit this, right? I'm gonna hit this, but then really enjoying the high of that. And it's so funny to think about how horrible that weed was now, in retrospect, and how high
what
I got
the fuck
off
was
of it,
on that, dude?
At that time, which is hilarious. And to flash forward a little bit, so then that was the jam. That was like a bit of escapism for me. That was like the vice of choice. I didn't really drink so much as a young person, and I, as the social thing, that was like I took to cannabis in a fun way. As a customer, right? That was just like, I would just, if I could buy it and have access to it. I remember working at a young age and always having like a piece of money I was spending on CDs and weed was what like
Me too.
was the life.
That's so funny.
And
so cool.
To the point where I remember like what was maybe formative in that moment was getting in trouble with my parents about it, right? Is kind of what I remember about that age. Was like we had moved to the suburbs and my parents got this house, and it was like, oh, we're not going to jeopardize our living existence because you want to grow weed on the roof, in a very obvious way. And these kinds of things and things that, looking back on it now that I'm in this industry, my sister has this shop. We just celebrated 2 years, and my mother was here. My parents are here. My family is here in the parking lot, and it's
interesting, man.
It's such a crazy flash forward. I know you.
When you deal with family and that shit, like, I have the similar thing too. It's really fucking weird, man.
It's bizarre.
Do you think it's You think it's positive? It's got to be, right? I mean, like, family's a funny thing like that, right? Especially in this space, because we actually have something similar with that. Like, me and my brother in the Bay for a while. We were like, I dropped out of high school. He graduated, but we both were like suburb kids too that we didn't know any purpose. And I was selling weed. And when I moved to the Bay, it was like Prohibition time. Yeah. And it was like, I literally learned everything I know about what I'm doing now with branding because I was like messing around with the cookie guys. So... And I kind of took that with me and created my own flavor and style. And I was like, there could be something to brands and cannabis. And, I was feeling like I was already doing it as a representation of myself. But, I was always in trouble. Yeah. And I got in real trouble. Yep. And, with my parents, it's funny how I support my parents these days. And it's a weird psychology of what it was. They'll still bring it up, right? Of like felonies and all these different things. And I could joke and be like, it's benefited me now. Right. Like literally. But at the same time, it's that's the kind of the question I'm really trying to ask you when it comes to family and these types of things. And like, do you think it's a good thing for us? And then I want to know, is the youth that come up, like it's kind of over. Like, it's going to be other drugs that will be that thing, like the cipher. And it's like, is that good? Is that bad? I'm trying to weigh I hope I could get it more into an actual question for you, but I know you feel the energy because what we've dealt with our families and how it's like gone, we went through prohibition of weed. And it's like, I wonder what's going to happen with the youth and is it good or bad for them and us? It's an interesting philosophy of this whole thing.
What I've seen change and what I felt change as far as the family piece of that is the idea of the pride of that, where it was a shameful thing before. Yes. It was, I made a transition from, consuming so much weed to selling it when I had kids. and I like needed to make some more money, and I kind of leaned on on my my plugs to be like, hey, what do I got to do to get involved in a little side hustle here, and
gotta make some alleged non-taxable,
and then worked, and then I've always worked like 5 or 6 jobs to make that make sense.
Yeah.
And that piece of it was always like the easiest thing. It was always I was in hospitality, I was in all these things, and so that was always, but it was always
easiest
hidden.
for you.
Easiest for me, right? To just like, hey, on the side, regardless of every other job that I had, I could always sell a little bit of weed, and make that make sense for myself, but it was always hidden, and it was always on the low, and it was always like, I'm an idiot, and I'm doing it out of jobs that I will get fired from if I get caught.
Though, because like your job, your employees and stuff, they're like, I got you, bro. I'll bring it to you.
And how stupid is that as far as the risk of that? At the same time,
job that's giving you health insurance.
And so as I'm saying, and I'm like, I'm not telling anybody about this. I'm certainly not on the Instagram and getting interviewed about it at the time. I'm just like, it's just like, no, we're not talking about these things. And
it's a trip, dude.
So that piece of it, being able to loudly and proudly stand on.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing out here, and this is the cannabis that we're growing is wonderful, and
you're representing.
And here in the market, like I like
you and your sister. It's so cool.
We do. We just like we bring it to we bring it to y'all. We bring it to the people here. It's really what it's about, and make it palatable. So it's like, if anything, if the presentation part, right, and back to me and just kind of how we present and share the thing.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you at home watching, everybody feels like it's for them. Everybody should feel like this thing is for them and is accessible to them again. And
that's the new shit.
And
that's the post-prohibition shit that I do. So you're right. It is positive. It's maybe even the way I was just I couldn't even really explain it the way I wanted to. And I know you feel it. And I think that's what something like a lot of people who watch this are people like us in this industry where it's like confusing in a way.
Yeah.
And we want to tell stories of like what's going on now, but also where we come from in this space. And it's almost like trauma. It's almost like weird when people were like, that's wrong. But now they're saying, oh, good for you.
Right.
Do you get that a lot? I mean, you guys must get that a lot.
It's interesting and I want to get to, you were asking about like the younger and like the youth, right? And I assume in the purpose of this, when we're talking about youth, it's still 21 and up here, but I think that there's a cultural difference there that is like these folks that kind of grew up with, younger people that just grew up with all this has just been fly.
I mean,
like
alcohol was 21 and up, but it was like people were experiencing it. That's kind of the same thing, you know?
I think there's levels and lanes to all of it, right? And I think is just as much awareness about, we got this store here and everybody, it's all for sale and it's all very shiny, but there's still people getting locked up for it, and there's still people serving time, for cannabis. So it's like, and I find that the
state-run company, state-run country, it's fucked up,
and the people that are at the forefront are usually at the forefront of pushing back against that are young people. So it's like there's a
it's true.
I'm not into like writing off like demographics of ages, like, oh, you guys just don't understand, you weren't there for this thing, We all got the same internet. We can all kind of like we all got the same stoner movies on the shelf as far as like the references here.
True. The history comes back around in culture.
And if you haven't, do the knowledge. It's out there. The history of how we got to this legal space here where I can just be a cartoon character and just like cartwheel around the room. And there's like, I do the bombastic shit that I do because somebody had to whisper before me about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, hey, we're here and we got this thing and come get it again it was like ringing the dinner bell, but it's also,
I love that.
There's some information to share here. And for me, my thing is just making people feel good about their shopping experience. Just making you feel like, you know what, that when you left here, there's no shame involved in anything that happened, at least here.
That's what's necessary, though. That was the point I was making earlier, was like people are nervous, and it's like, good shit, brother. That's cool to see.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I'm always conflicted with like pop-ups and all those different things. I think a lot of like people like us in the industry are too, and you're fascinating with that, and it's cool that I got to find out. I was like saving that for this because we're starting to like become more friends, and I really wanted to know that.
And this thing is certainly like, as far as our job in this is relationship building, right? Like any good job or any good industry, right? Then there's so many people to connect with. There's a million brands, there's a million cultivators and the retail spaces here, but like I'm always fascinated in connecting with just customers.
Yeah.
Who's walking through the door to buy this stuff here? When I was in media and radio, I wanted to know who's listening.
Yeah.
How do we build audience, right? So it all
Yeah.
comes back to just like engaging the people that you want to tune in first, you know,
Yeah.
and then everybody else there. So it's like I kind of move and act the way that I do because I'm here in this store, yes, and I'm representing for this dispensary here, but I feel like I'm working for whoever works through the door. Whoever walks through the door at that moment, I'm working for you.
Cool.
You know, what can we do for you here? And I want everybody to kind of have that mentality if they're in a dispensary, when people walk through the door, you know, and just like
It's an
say
important
hi.
time. It's
you
an
know?
important time to do that. It's actually you will make an impact in people's lives because, you know, when people are walking through the weed doors these days, they're like, what's going to happen? How's this going to be? It's like such an opportunity.
When you walk
It's a
through,
real opportunity to make an impact.
I'm feeling like any retail experience, every restaurant, any customer service experience kind of post the pandemic has been a risky endeavor. You don't know what you're going to get, from a phone call to a slice of pizza to a car wash. Like, you don't know how that interaction is going to go.
Are you talking about like tempers
I'm-
flaring?
Yes,
Okay.
on both sides of the aisle.
I like that.
think
Keep
people-
going down that road,
think
dude. I like
people
that.
Forgot how to give attentive service, and I
Mm-hmm.
think people as customers forgot that there's still like social rules and etiquettes to like being like a customer, and that there's room for all of that, for everybody to like find that space there. But I think just getting back to just politeness first, and just like, again, eye contact and saying hello.
A lot of
and
value
like,
in that.
Thank you for coming here.
Yes.
You know, it's like we appreciate it. Something I love to say to people when they come in, I do my spiel. I always ask, hey, what is it that you're looking for? What do you smoke at home? And then I
Right.
make sure I tell people, hey, this is what I brought here. But if it's not for you, there's a bunch of stuff here on the menu. Let me know if you need any help. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm here to do this thing, but again, we're here for you. And again, I think that there's the fun and cannabis industry, which I can't say for every other industry where people are buying things. There is something for everybody in this store, in these stores. It's like there's something that's going to work for you, the person coming in to buy a thing. And
People are winging it and trying like that Canatella stuff, and there's a lot of like different interesting consumable cannabis things.
That's right.
And experiences. And that's what's so cool about Cussins is like the nail salon part. The biggest thing I got this morning of talking to the staff, I always pick like these little things, is when she told me about the nail thing. When she was like, it's so cool, I can get my nails done. People come in, they're like, where'd you get? It's like, that is such, I mean, I bite the shit out of my nails.
Same.
But you know, and you know, it's not my culture, the lady culture, you know, and but I know that that's a thing. I know, like, my homegirls and everything, like, it's like they always are talking about their nails, and it's always like a thing. So, like, it's so cool to bring that all together. We do that with Breakfast Connections, too. And it's like, I just love seeing that in the space right now. And New York has really opened it up for people with that. But one thing I do want to shine a light on and ask you a question, because you were talking about, like, consumption and how people are doing it. I want to know how Jody's smoking.
Oh, boy.
I want to know if you're, like, are you wake and baking? Like, are you all day? And I want to know more about that.
You know what's funny? I always thought that I was kind of I thought that I smoked a lot, right? And people close to me in my life had kind of always told me, you know, you kind of smoke a little bit. Like, maybe you should like take it easy on that. And then I got into this industry proper. And then I got and like met a bunch of people. And then I had my interview with Electraleaf. And I remember sitting with Ricky and Pedro at the office, and these guys rolling a joint that looked like this sub right here, and that was like, it's 11:30 in the morning, and they're on like maybe their third or fourth one for the day, and I was like, oh shit, and I was like, this is like this is like the interview. We talked on the phone first, but it was like I realized very quickly, it's like, oh, I don't smoke nearly as much as most of these folks here. To answer in the short version, I'm a flower guy through and through. Kind of always have been a flower guy. I like the ritual of breaking up bud. I'm big on the ritual, right? I had one of those Grav coffee mug bubblers that I've smoked on for like the last 6 years. And I just have used it, and it's the same day every day. I get my grinder, I like to grind it up, I like to smell it, I pack it up. And I think there's something to that ritual where, again, if I'm doing it right and I get to it and allow the time, I'm almost high before I take the first rip. Because my brain knows it's coming, it knows like what's going on.
So it is part of your routine every morning.
For sure. But I then might have like a bowl that I'll pack that's like a chunky bowl, and that might get me through like morning, afternoon.
Ritual.
and I'll like leave that, and I don't need to necessarily clear the bowl, but like 1 or 2 hits of that, and then I'm good, and I'm kind of keeping it moving. We have wonderful pre-rolls with Electraleaf that I can't say enough about. These 1 gram ceramic tip pre-rolls.
I was gonna say, I remember seeing your guys' tip.
I got spoiled rotten with these folks here smoking these pre-rolls. So I really enjoy them. If I'm kind of like, especially on like a long trip from point A to point B, that's like a bit of a new ritual for me is smoking out the window and just enjoying that a whole bunch. I recently got at the golf event that we worked together.
That was so funny.
And you mentioned the gravity
cool.
bong
Shout out
thing.
Valley Greens and Dan and those guys, dude.
Big shout to was it Purple Plains and Valley Greens?
They had no idea putting us in a tent together what that was gonna really be.
That's it.
We must have been the pride of the event because people were coming. I told you the funniest thing, dude. You were
and shout out to the golf course because I mildly terrorized
those
folks here.
Because they were kind of mean to us.
Well, they for good reason because we came. I had a pocket full of firecrackers and smoke bombs. I came to just bring a little bit of ruckus and the gravity bong, right? And we had people like putting big clouds in the air there.
You learned something that day. Do you remember about the like where? Because I told you, I was like, I guarantee you, they're all gonna like bring up like college.
That's right. That's right. The generations of gravity bong usage, right? And that everybody can kind of get back to that.
And
it was
all the
very funny.
the white people on the golf course. That's like where they consume cannabis.
Everybody was
peer
familiar.
pressuring and fraternities on like
so
rip
funny.
it, dude, rip it.
That's right. And because people didn't want to do it at first.
But you had your boys in there.
We locked it in. Yes, good old fashioned, just like
peer pressure.
Fucking toxic masculinity at work here.
So
and
funny.
we got everybody ripped. And wow, I want to do that again. That was fun.
We got right into it too because they were like giving out booze. I felt like we like fed off like their fraternity energy.
That's it.
We're like, yeah, dude, we're just gonna rip some seltzers.
It's
a good time. Man.
What I want to say, I'll take back what I was going to say. What I will say is the gravity bong and how that was inspired was again my ritual was disrupted. I had a bunch of teeth pulled a week and a half before that, and the dentist recommended that I stop smoking weed so that it didn't disrupt the anesthetic
the
in these
dry
things, right?
sockets and shit, yeah.
And that for smoking, right? So they recommended not smoking joints and do the inhale thing.
Like pulling it, yeah.
And I still don't know what dry socket is as far as what that is, what happens in your face, but like it sounds horrible. Like I don't want none of that in my mouth. Thank you. Yeah. And so I had an epiphany about I was reminded about gravity bongs and that could kind of like circumvent the inhale issue, the suction issue that I couldn't bring to actually smoking here. And then once I did it, and I was like, oh, this is great. And I'm just doing it on my patio at home. I'm just doing it, again, pissing my neighbors off, putting clouds up that are just getting sucked into their AC units. I apologize to everybody that I live next to. And I was like, you know what? I'm bringing this to the golf. This is obnoxious. I'm bringing this to the golf course.
Dude. And the firecrackers.
That's right. Just in case
So
it wasn't
funny.
obnoxious enough.
Do you remember what the grounds crew guy said to me? It made me feel like such an asshole. Because
There was a couple. They sent a couple. And then they sent the drone over. When the drone came by, I was like, I thought it was like promo. I thought somebody was like recording promo.
No,
and I realized, I was like, oh, we're in
I heard
trouble.
a firecracker. And the guy, he was getting mad at us because we were like had a tent on the driving,
That's right.
whatever the hell it's called. And I was like, dude, we're not gonna mess it up. Like I play golf. Like I'm not gonna mess up. I don't want to mess up a golf course. I play golf. He goes, if you played golf, you'd know not to put a tent on it.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, oh.
What I will say,
gatekeeper shit.
it was the golf course was the privilege on display and was fun to disrupt. Like put me on more golf courses, but don't be mad if I come through with a pocket full of
We did play the
firecrackers.
drug dealers that were the weed dealers in their fraternities. That were like the guy that came through and like we're the plugs.
And I refuse to believe I'm the only one that's like being a menace on the course out there or just in general in this industry. I refuse to believe that. But I did see footage of somebody else's golf event where they got this like CO2 like air rocket thing that they're launching golf
Like
balls
big-
at, and I'm like, okay, I see a lane for myself to be more of a menace out here. So coming soon to a green near you. Let's get busy. But I love it. I love the events. I love the the opportunities to just connect with people and again bring that stigma down, right? Just normalize the cloud, right? Of just like, hey, this is what we're doing out here, and isn't this a blast?
Yeah. Where do you think the industry is going to be going? Like we're having fun, and it was really awesome to learn your where you get that energy from, and I looked at it as you're looking at it as good as like real purpose. Like when people are walking through, you care about the experience of letting them know about Electraleaf and the stores and being of service to these people and getting them what they need to go home. And we could call it medicate, we could call it recreational, however they're going to use that. We're like that bridge. And I loved learning that about you, and I was excited today about figuring that out.
I think where the industry is headed, unfortunately, is maybe like just apathy. I think that we're headed towards like the Philip Morrisification of cannabis, right? Mm-hmm. So I think like while it's still independent, while it's still underground with a barcode or whatever version of that is now, like it is still fun.
I mean, I'm in a boutique store that's like one of the most unique stores I've ever been in.
It's incredible, right?
I really still do believe that it could last a long time.
Sure.
But keep going.
And I think that's great. And I think that we're here. And I think now that there's these independent small stores and there's like people have like, I've been in so many dispensaries across the state. I don't know that I've been in 2 that have been the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even when you get into franchising these things,
they're bonkers blown away by
each
that.
one is so unique. Each one has its own personality to it. Each one has its own clientele and community that's coming to it. And
it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful right now. And I think at some point, I don't know that I was really drinking for or around for the inception of like all the liquor stores and wine stores popping up, but I'm sure that people got really excited about all of those opening at some point and they came
like
out and did
shit like that.
Right. And then at some point, you know, a liquor store just opened up and you never heard about it and you just like drove past it. Like so at some point these grand opening events, the ribbon cutting things, like people are starting to not give a shit so much anymore, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's time.
Because that's kind of the beauty of the normalization part is that it's just regular. Like this is regular. We got one on your shop. Now it's just like, all right, I'm not gonna be here for the ribbon cutting, but I'll be here every day.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what's different about that one, and it probably is.
Absolutely. So I think that piece of it and just kind of getting to the normalizing just wonderful customer service, stores like Cussin's getting to that 2-year mark and beyond, and just like having a staple hold in the community, and you know just doing the best on the people's behalf. I'm excited about you know when we get to the federal part or the getting to like do more medical research, because I think that I talk to so many people at these pop-ups about relief. I rarely talk to people about getting high, right? Like, which is an interesting thing. I'm talking to people are just trying to get through their day.
Yeah,
right?
They're curious and they're like, can this be better than pharmaceuticals or something?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain. Which of these 1,000 products here is going to help me get through, you know, the day here? And so having some more of that research out there, having some more of, you know, just that conversation being, I think that's kind of still like one of the last places where, maybe not the last place, but one of the places where, you know, the stigma is still there and we're not able to kind of do this. And I give it up to, again, I have a lot of fun and I do a lot of silly shit at these pop-ups. There are folks out here that are incredible educators in cannabis, and a lot of them are chronically ill.
Yeah.
And have gotten to, you know, their knowledge about this because they're treating they're treating their life, you know, their lifestyle and their ailments, and then share that experience going out here. So I'm privileged to say that I'm not, maybe there's a mental health thing. Honestly, so 2 years in, working in cannabis has been 2 years unmedicated for me.
Amazing.
Outside of cannabis, which is another reason why I'm just like my merry manic self every day, you know, in this thing, and feeling great about being that version of myself to share with the rest of you guys. So, you know, kudos
That's
to
what's
everything.
cool about this shit is we can all grow together, and that's what we're trying to do on this podcast. And we did the damn thing, dude.
Yeah,
thank you for fucking being on. This is so much fun. It's a cool story. You're a fucking cool guy, and like you're one of my favorite people to see out when we're doing this weird thing.
That's right.
You know, that's like
right.
new and happening. So I was really excited to get you on the pod because that's what we're trying to document. And I got to ask you one thing to do before. You have to take a bite of that.
That's right.
I know it's been sitting a little bit, but that's also a part of the judgment.
That's okay. That's
Can
all
it
right.
sit? You need to take a bite of it on camera and go 0 out of 5. We say 0 out of 5 slappers.
Okay.
I'm going to get her on there to get her rating as well.
Big
I
Alex
want
in the
you
house.
got to get it on there.
Okay. Will you hold the microphone for me? Well, this is like a 3-hand sandwich that we've gotten here, right? So we're gonna get into this here. I'm gonna
double hand mics.
This is Menace here. This is the Breakfast Connections sandwich, JC's Deli, live from Cussin's. First bite. Yeah, crunch.
That was a good crunch.
I
heard it through the speakers.
Wow. And now I'm chewing. This is where the shame and stigma is, like eating on camera, and like you can hear this. I'm so sorry for all of this, folks. Oh my God. It's very good. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 10. I'm sorry, 10
0
out
out
of
of
10.
5.
0 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
You're
for
going
sure.
5 out of 5?
5 out of 5. There's
Interesting.
a tanginess involved. There's a sweetness involved there. The breakfast sandwich on the hoagie roll.
Different.
Wow. Candied bacon? Is that where the sweet's coming from?
It's because they put hot honey on it.
The hot honey.
Hot honey on the bacon.
I'm into that.
And they got the eggs on there, and they went Boar's Head American cheese, which I'm a Land O'Lakes man, but I've had people in my comments recently for my bacon, egg, and cheese reviews saying it's only
Thank you.
It's only American cheese from Boar's Head is the way to do it. And I was like, I don't know, I like Land O'Lakes better. There was someone getting like mad at me. They're like, I'm a chef.
Yeah.
I do Boar's Head.
I like that because I wanted to call you out a little bit on this breakfast sandwich thing because I feel like there's
Keep it real. Keep it real.
We talked about this a little bit on the golf course, but there's a bit of a I would think that there's a bit of a lack of controversy in doing breakfast reviews. And they make it very difficult for us to talk about and promote cannabis products all the time here. So you found a very safe, non-controversial way to promote all of this.
And silly and personal, like
I
I'm
love
inspired
it.
by people
very
like you.
tricky, very, very tricky play here. But when you get into it, there's a lot of controversy involved in the breakfast sandwich and the ritual and how people start their day.
You go in those comments, dude, it's gonna be crazy. You gotta go take a look. It's fucking nuts.
I love life, and there's few things that really get me really upset. The one thing that really just like irks me first thing in the morning especially is the look of, I've never tried it, but looking at a Stewart's breakfast pizza on display.
This is funny.
I get upset.
I've had people come on here and say I have to eat it.
I will throw.
I haven't had it yet. I'm gonna have to eat
I'll
it and
flip
rate
this
it.
table over. It upsets me in the morning when I look at it that's like offered to people. Like I want to be like, are you really offering that to folks there? I'm sure. Come for me in the comment section here. If you're a champion of the Stewart's breakfast pizza, let's talk about it.
They're
all right.
coming.
Part 2, breakfast connections.
coming.
Paulie, thank you so much,
Dude,
man.
thank you, man.
Absolutely.
This is fucking awesome.